Three, two,
1, 2.
one.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes, yes. I want to welcome everyone back again for another episode of Sports Fan Talk. I am your humble host, Big G.
It's your boy Raider Mike, but now it's all sport. Right, this is a Laker Mike right now.
Raider Lane 19 in the building. Let's go.
And your boy, the young architect, back at it again, man.
All right. Each week, we're going to try to get into different facets of sports conversation. You know, the average stuff you might talk to when you're amongst your peer group and get the angle that they're not going to talk about on ESPN or Fox Sports. But today, we're going to start it off with a topic. Should NFL contracts be guaranteed? You know, that's a very broad stroke subject. And, you know, you can attack this in many different ways. We're going to let Raider Mike start us off on it.
Oh, okay, but absolutely they should be. Oh shit! What the hell? Something just happened. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I'm about to say.
We're gonna start off with should your computer be guaranteed?
No, that wasn't me. That just popped up, and I don't need no upgrades. I ain't doing that. But no, okay. I think that they should, and for the simple fact that the football player's expectancy is only 3 or 4 years, really, 3 to 4 years tops. I mean, but there's people that play for a long time. I mean, the quarterback plays for a long time, and the quarterback's contract should be fully guaranteed because he touches the ball the most. He has to do everything. I mean, he's the leader of that offense. He has to be on point. He is the one who gets those scoring drives. Without him touching that ball, they can't score. You know what I'm saying? He got to hand the ball off to running backs to score. You got to throw the ball to wide receivers so they can score. I just think that if you look at all the other sports, if you look at baseball, it's always been 100% guaranteed. Basketball is 100% is guaranteed. It's time to come into the new millennium and football contracts be 100% guaranteed because you know when you're going to get hurt and you can't play anymore. And then because look at all those old NFL players that's retired who ain't got the money that these players has made. And they're retired with injuries and haven't really gotten paid, right? They didn't make the money that these players have made. And just think if they were getting guaranteed contracts, they'd have more money. And I think quarterbacks is the first ones, or we already have one already with Deshaun Watson. He started it off. So now that opened up the door for everybody else to get it. And the NFL it's going to come down to that, to where they're going to be doing it, because I just think that it's everybody else is doing it. You know how it's a copycat league and everybody else say, well, this person's getting it. I'm going to go after it because everybody's.
Oh.
Have we frozen?
Oh, like he froze up there.
Okay, we'll count him down. I'll give him 10 seconds to get back on. And otherwise, we're going to let somebody else go in.
I'm going to go after that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
What happened?
You froze for a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, you froze for
continue.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I just think that those players should be guaranteed that money. I don't care what they say, because if Deshaun Watson got it, he opened up the door for everybody else. Just like Kurt Flood started the free agency thing. They should be paying homage. Well, he's passed away. They should be paying homage to his relatives right now. 5%. For the choice to be able to go all the places that everybody get to go to. All the team, you know what I'm saying? So yep. I just think that like Lamar Jackson be the next person to get a fully guaranteed contract. He's next. He's overdue. Even if he don't get it from the Ravens, he'll get it somewhere else. But I'm sure that they built that team around him, and they got the offensive coordinator that's gonna build the offense right around him. But they ain't got no choice. They kind of like they would have to change their whole everything. They're built for that type of quarterback. The team is built that way. So he got them by the whats, because unless they're gonna change, because then it's gonna take time to But I just think that it should be, because the life expectancy of a player is only 3 to 4 years. You get hurt, and guess what? They can just pay you 60% of your contract, and you're done. You don't, that's not right. I just think that a fully guaranteed contract is something that that will sit well better with the players. I think because football is a rough sport. Baseball, they get fully contract and it ain't as rough as football. You might run into the wall and get hit with a ball. I ain't saying that don't hurt, but football, you can get hit, you get hurt faster in football. You don't get too many times you hit in the head with a hard ball, like or basketball, you get elbowed, or you hit the floor. Those things are freak accidents. Football players get hurt all the time. And it's time for them to have a fully guaranteed contract, Greg. They got to come into the basketball, into the baseball. Everybody just needs to be treated fairly, because I just think that I know football is only a 16-game season. So what? It's time for them to do that. That's all. That's how I see it. I mean, I see it that way. I don't see it as it's a bad thing, because then they'll be saying, oh, these players will start, falling off or not, saying, fuck it, my guaranteed contract is guaranteed, and start, acting up like Randy Moss, like he did the Raiders, and say, oh, well, I ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna get paid. No, we're not nothing like that. But I think that, do you agree on that they should? I mean, say if you do it for one, all of them should get. I mean, because you can't just say the quarterback can get paid. It's got to be the wide receiver, running back, whoever is the highest. If they deserve that money, they deserve a fully guaranteed contract. That's how I feel.
Okay. I like that. Raider lady, you missed me last week. We need get some of these inputs in on you. How do you feel about it?
The way I see it, I'm kind of like in between, but I am going to say that there should be they should have guaranteed contracts. And particularly just because of how the structure of NFL, how the slots in which players are, how they're paid. People think have a misnomer that how many people on the roster? 55. Their pay structures for UDFAs, players that come in who are drafted below the 3rd round, the real money that they're seeing based on the structure, it's not a lot. It's just it's not a lot for the risk that they do put out there. So for that reason, I do believe they should be guaranteed, because everybody, NBA salaries are slotted, especially when you enter the league. After when you're drafted, and how they structure it out where, a 1st round pick, they have X amount of millions. 2nd round pick, that's when it drop off. It drop off significantly once you start getting in the 3rd round and you get a contract and they give you a 3-year deal or the 4-year rookie deal, and they don't have to pick up an option and all that. Them people not making life sustaining dollars. They're just not. So for that reason, I think they should have guaranteed contracts. But because of the high risk, because football is a game that you can be playing today and you can get busted up the next day, they're gonna have to basically do something about salary cap. You're either gonna have to go with a league that has no salary cap or any of that, because you can't, put somebody on a $100 and something million contract and they blow out their knee. You know what I'm saying? And he can't continue to play, or he reduced to a 2nd tier individual, a 2nd tier backer where they're not playing, but they're there because they're on your payroll. It becomes that kind of become problematic to me. So they're gonna have to figure something out about salary cap in football, because they have to literally get rid of it if they're gonna have fully guaranteed contracts, or when they got these hard caps or whatever the case, because price is going up every year. So yeah, but I believe they should be guaranteed, but they're gonna have to change a lot of the structure of how they slot players, how they give out money and stuff, with football. So they have to do a lot of changing. I don't know if they're gonna be up for that, but that's what will have to happen for every single player to get a guaranteed contract in that league.
The bonuses that they get, that when signing bonus, I agree with you though, that they need that's what they're gonna have to do though. Get rid of salary cap.
Okay, Architect, what do you think about it?
Honestly, I agree. I think they should get fully guaranteed contracts, but mostly because, if you look at it, the average NFL career is 3 years, but you only qualify, and then this is more so on the health. I'm coming more so for the healthcare and the health afterwards. The average NFL career is about 3 years, 3.5 years, but you don't qualify to get healthcare for life unless you played 5 or more seasons. So,
Or-
for those guys who, so for those guys who have a career-ending injury, say they get drafted and they're in year 2 and they have a career-ending injury, they don't have health care for the rest of their life. They're paying up to $35,000 a year for premiums and saying that what if they were a 6th-round draft pick, a 7th-round draft pick, who are on the verge of getting a major contract? You know, they're not going to have the money to pay for certain health benefits and stuff like that. I think honestly, if you're putting your life on the line in a physical sport that is football, I think you should be compensated like fairly, in my sense. If you're going to be in that field, I feel like you're compensated fairly. You should get a fully guaranteed contract, no matter whether you win the 1st round, 2nd round, whether you're a free agent signing somewhere. I think you should get it, just because, like, at the end of the day, we all know when it comes down to it, the NFL doesn't really care about who's in the jersey. They just care about how many jerseys they sell with your name on the back of it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being, like I said, if I'm being honest, I think players should get fully guaranteed deals. Do I think it'll be more common? I doubt it, just because the NFL is a big conglomerate. But I do believe that they should get fully guaranteed.
Okay. All right. Like that. And I don't think anyone here is going to say they shouldn't be guaranteed, but I think I have a little twist on it. First of all, the reason they're not, let's put it out there. Ray and Mike, you said baseball is guaranteed, right?
Yep.
Baseball is 58% white, 38% Hispanic, 8% black. NFL is 71% black. So you're not going to get nothing guaranteed. That's first and foremost. You know, basketball, the injury it's less likely that you're going to suffer the same type of injuries that you do with the NFL. Well, man, I just saw a video with somebody I really don't even care for too much, that dude Sam Acho. I really don't like his points of view on anything, but he's just talking about the pink pill that they make you take in NFL. And they call it a pink pill because it's like a mixture. They crush up a Toradol with a Tylenol with something else, and then they make it one pill so it'll have a certain effect on these players, man, and they pop them like Tic Tacs. So with that said, like, yes, I believe it should be guaranteed, but you got to remember, man, it's sad to say, because NFL is the most exciting, but the more vicious the game, the more violent the game, it's almost the better the sport is. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it's barbaric. It's a beautifully barbaric sport, if there's such, you know what I mean? If you try to lighten the game up, you get games like the Pro Bowl, where it's just like, it's not watchable TV. You know what I mean? So the injury factor is going to be there. But for me, as a business owner, you can't guarantee a lot of these contracts that, you know, I mean, the dude could be injured on one play and that's his career. You know, DeMar Hamlin, you can have that happen. What if that happened to freaking Deshaun Watson in his first game? His money is guaranteed. They're going to be paying it. Look at freaking Bobby Bonilla has been paid $500,000 a year from the damn Baltimore Orioles.
Well, he got $1 million.
$500,000 a year from 2004 to this date, and it ends in 2029.
Right.
They got to pay him back every year. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
Gilbert Arenas just stopped getting paid like a couple years ago from the Wizards.
Yeah. So in the NFL, the thing I don't like is, out of all the leagues, they're the ones who can really afford to do that because they make the most money. You know what I'm saying? So it's a catch-22. And then I'll agree with you, Raider lady. I was just like, you'd have to end the salary cap. But guess what? If you end the salary cap, Dallas Cowboys become the New York Yankees. I guarantee you. You know what I mean?
I can't disagree with that.
Well, you remember when the Niners and Cowboys was going back to back, there was no salary cap.
Absolutely.
They was exchanging players.
And
you know what I'm saying?
DeBartolo and Carmen policy, they was over there willing and dealing. Like you said, they spread that money out. That's the truth.
Jerry was like, we'll take Haley from you, we'll take Dion from you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they don't want to have
Norton.
Then the Niners took Norton. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody, if you go back to that, Then you got them 2-14 Bengals teams because the Bengals ain't spending no money.
Right.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
Aints, the Saints become the Aints again.
Yeah, they're
That's
not
true.
spending money.
Very true.
So
Very true.
it's,
Very true.
it is a catch-22. But what I do believe they need to guarantee, which they can guarantee, is medical for any player. If you make it to 3 years in the league, you should have free medical for the rest of your life. I don't give a
I
damn
think so.
because
I agree.
they can afford to do that. They
Right.
act like, oh, the cost would be astronomical because we have to pay. So, all right, look, only so many people make it to play in the NFL for that long.
Right.
And, you know, if a dude played 3 years, more than likely, you know, you throw something on him to where he gets free medical. But in order to be fair, I guess, he can't put his whole family on the policy
Right.
too. You know what I mean? So it's for him.
If you
So-
supposed to
Right.
put your family on it, if
I'm saying if you got
Well,
it like that, I'm just
Hey
saying.
man, you gonna
your whole family's
there's-
supposed to be on the policy. That's the whole thing when you
no,
get married.
it's not. My family ain't on my policy now. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean,
No.
that's how much medical is. You know
Well,
what I
That's
mean?
so crazy. Though.
All was on mine. Mine is well, I guess it depends what medical you have. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
does.
Because if you look at it though, like they said
It's
on
all-
average,
everybody on
the
mine.
average NFL like medical insurance plan for the premiums is like $35K.
Hmm.
Like, so I'm
Yeah,
like, they
right.
could definitely afford that if I'm being
Yes, they
honest.
can afford it.
100%.
You know, so I don't know. The thing is, my conclusion to this is the only way that would ever happen, the system has to be blown up. It's gonna take.
That's what it take.
It's
I
gonna
said, a
take.
white man know he can afford it.
It's gonna take some superstars, and not just black. It's gonna be some white superstars, some black
Exactly.
But we know
superstars
that's not going to
that be
happen.
like.
But you know they're not going to do that with Gregory. You know they're not going to do that.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm saying,
yeah.
but that's
I mean,
Hey,
they would benefit. Why wouldn't they?
That's what I'm saying. For the
Benefit.
times
They
that-
benefit too.
Come on,
Hey, if
they,
you-
you know, the good old
look,
boys, they go
if you
off.
want guaranteed money, you know what I'm saying, you should do it. But the thing is, you ain't gonna get the quarterbacks to join because they're like, hey, our money's already guaranteed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the most
Right.
part.
Right, quarterbacks is get them. I'd say they get the most.
So bottom line with that, man, we all know it should be, you know what I mean? And it's the right thing to do, but they will never do it unless they're forced to. And the only
True.
people that can force them is the superstars. 'Cause they
Mhm.
don't care about nameless players, man. You know?
Exactly. They treat the nameless players like a temp agency. Some free agents ain't nothing but like a temp agency.
It's,
So you get
it's,
medical
it's,
benefits.
it's true.
and
That's
free
that's
earnings.
the system. That's their system.
Yep.
They
It is
roll
the
them
system
out
because
like that.
You get no
Yep.
medical benefits until you pass your probational period.
Yep. That's it. All right.
Shit.
So next up, let's keep it pushing, man. Moving right along. Next up, we'll talk about the injury to Steph Curry in GP2. And we will let Raider Lady lead us
Ooh.
off on this one.
If they don't want to fall out, and I do mean fall out, if they don't want to fall out of the plan, they need him back like ASAP.
Yeah.
Because they're still going through when I see them play, to me they're inconsistent. I don't watch a ton of Warriors basketball, but when I do, there's some inner little things going on with that team between Poole and Curry. Things don't spill over into the court. They don't spill over to the game by chance. It just really doesn't. And I keep saying that because that boy youngster, that Poole, he's been given the green light in his head, and there is a little passing of the torch struggle within that team. It's happening whether people want to believe it or not. It's happening, and to me, it's affecting their flow. So if they want to have a chance to really do defend their title, they need to step back, and he got to play on out. He got to play on out because Jordan Poole ain't ready yet. I don't care what they paid you. I don't care if they gave you 100-something million. You're not ready yet. Because some of them shots you take and the pace in which you play, he gets him in trouble. He's lost his fair share of games, and from a momentum point, from what I've seen, because he's like, I'm up next. I'm next. I'm here. He play like that. Like, I'm here. Recognize me. I'm here. I know y'all been holding it. I know y'all cats been together. You know, y'all click, y'all trade. I'm here though, and he play like that, and I think it's he's messing with him. So, but I like to see it's a lot of drama, which is good. This is a good storyline. So, and getting GP, they need GP too because they can be God on defense, and so they need a defender. They do need a perimeter defender because Poole ain't stopping nobody. Again, his mentality is not that. He's scoring. He's not a get Curry. He give you some. He'll play the passing lane, but beside that, you can go at his chest. Everybody else on that team, you can go at them. And so GP plays an instrumental because he's like that. That rubber stretch, Stacey Augmon type. He remind me of Stacey Augmon. And he can do a little bit of everything. He'll get some deflections. He's gonna steal, in that energy. So hopefully that's what they need. That's what they missing. It ain't no doubt. For a long time, I want to give that dude credit for being like the soul of that team, like he is. Like they need him. They need him. If they're gonna make. Otherwise, they're gonna play out. They're gonna fall out of that.
Very much agreed. Although, if you've been watching, I've been peeping back over my shoulder. I just watched. They did beat the Timberwolves tonight. It was a close
they
one.
Needed that one.
But Clay was popping a couple of threes down the stretch, pulled us through. I'll tackle this one next. As far as Steph Curry, it's like his actual injury is a partial tear of the superior tibiofibular ligament, along with the muscle contusion. Now, with this, it's basically it's a tear of the ligament that stabilizes, basically almost like your kneecap. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those injuries, man, where there's no real timetable. You know what I mean? That's why they're being so ominous about it. I looked it up. And if you get a chance, there's a guy with like a YouTube channel, but he does all the medical injuries and tells you what they really are. They break them down on a map. I forget his name, but pretty cool. He broke down Curry's injury and he was just like, look, he could come back and be great. He can come back and take one little wrong cut and that knee could, the ligament could tear again or partial tear again, whatever. So for him, it's scary because like you said, right now they're a 500 team without him. And just looking at him, the one thing I do like, I'm watching, man, Clay is back to being Clay again. You know what I mean? So that is a great thing. He said Poole is I'm watching the game. It's crazy because he just looked like a little kid. Like he has his game doesn't have like a rhythm. It's very erratic. He can go off and do his thing, but at other times he just looks like, why the hell are you shooting that, man? Like, perfect example. They came down trying to get a 2-for-1 and they could have worked it a little bit, but he instantly got the ball probably about 10 feet beyond the arc in the middle, damn near by the logo, and just put up a three. I'm like, God dang. You know what I'm saying? So that right there,
Curry effect.
Out of control. I think they need Curry to stabilize the team. But then also with GP2, his injury, of course, we know he failed his physical and he suffered a core muscle injury. They say it's similar to a hernia. And then we know the Blazers pushed him back too soon after his surgery. And, they were making him take, what are those shots? Toradol shots, just so he could play. So he wasn't really ready to play. They should have been having him sit, but they never let the injury heal proper. So basically the Warriors are like, look, we're going to sit him down, let it heal properly, because like you said, Raider Lady, they're going to need him to stabilize the perimeter defense when it comes to playoff time. So, another one of those injuries, though, it's like, it's internal. So how do we know how it's going to heal or anything? We'll see, though. But positives are they won a couple in a row. They don't have problems winning at home. So they won 2 in a row at home recently. Team is looking better. It's more cohesive. But with Curry and GP2 for the playoff stretch, nobody's mentioning the Warriors at all when it comes to title talk. So who knows? Maybe we can squeeze up in there. You know what I mean? Architect, what do you think, man?
Um, as far as I'm gonna start with DP's injury. Honestly, as a Warrior fan, I love the fact that we have Gary Payton back. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. But if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't went through the trade just with everything that came out. Yeah, we wanted to get rid of Wiseman and all that, but if I'm being honest, as soon as the news would have came out about GP2, having the team forcing him to come back early and taking those shots and whatnot, like I kind of would have been a little bit more hesitant to pull that trigger because at the end of the day, like you said, it's internal. We don't know how it's going to hit. We don't know how fast it's going to happen. Whatever. Honestly, I probably would have tried to stick with Sadiq Bey or even try to go make a move for an OG Ananobi. You know what I'm saying? Who's a taller guy who can still defend both of them. You know what I'm saying? They can still shoot the ball fairly well, but having that other wing who can guard at least 1 through 3, if not 1 through 4. You know what I'm saying? Um, but here we are now, and honestly, I think we take our time, and we probably wouldn't see him till the end of the season, or if we make the play in, we probably wouldn't see him until then. At least in a more in a major capacity as far as like acting in actual playing time. We might see him there here and there as far as sparring minutes. Um, but I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about the GP2 situation just because like I've had time to think about it. But now moving on to Steph, I mean, it's looking like age is catching up to him. Not everybody can be LeBron James if they really ever get hurt. I saw it coming. I mean, if you think about it, he at the beginning of his career, we thought he wasn't going to last anyways because of his ankles. You know what I'm saying? But now here we are. He's getting older, and you see that lower half of his body is starting to be like, okay, like calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, especially when it's something to do with your foot. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at Steph, who's someone who is an underrated person when it comes to driving to the basket and actually being able to, go get to the paint, attacking the paint. He does take a lot. He does get beat up a lot, especially, with him. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. He's put on a little bit more weight, but he still gets beat up a lot because he's not the biggest guy. But um, absolutely. I think if the Warriors were to make any type of push, Steph Curry has to be there. It's mandatory. Like you get making it to the play-in, I would say the Warriors would still need Stephen Curry. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this is just me analyzing the entirety of the thing. I think Steph is on his way. Like I think he said something about a couple years ago. Like he still wants to play a few more years. I'm gonna be honest. I give it maybe 3 years. If his injuries continue to be like this, I don't see Stephen Curry playing that much more. And it's sad because it's gonna be like it. I kind of see like the end of an era, coming into fruition. But I mean, not everybody can play forever. Not everybody can play 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So I just take it for what it is, and I enjoyed it for what it is now. But I don't see Stephen Curry, his injury, like him, like getting, I don't know, better with age in a sense, because I don't think the shooting is gonna go anywhere. But as far as him getting better, as far as like being healthier and stuff like that, I don't see that happening. So I just take it for what it is, and we'll see how it plays out. But I don't see us doing anything significant this season.
Yeah. Hey, I see. And side note, since he had this injury, I have seen him out twice in public. I went took Zoe to see Stanford versus Cal. He went there to watch his sister play.
Yep.
And then last Sunday, matter of fact, we went to watch Stanford play UCLA. I guess he's friends with the Cameron Brink. Like she's like one of the stars in her team. I think he's friends with their family. So he can walk well, but I don't think he'll be running off no cuts no time soon. So Raider Mike, What do you think, man?
Well, hey, it doesn't matter to me. I'm a Laker fan. But the thing about Curry is I blame the NBA for Curry because he don't get the calls that other players get. He gets beat the hell up all the time. He's a 4-time champion. He deserves better. He deserves to be protected like you protect the other players, the superstars. LeBron is a Laker, they protect him. They protect Harden. They protect all these other stars. And I just think Curry is it's kind of messed up though to me. I mean, because he's one of the top 5 players in the NBA or whatever, you know, and he doesn't get the respect like those other players getting those calls. You know what I'm saying? He's just like a quarterback of the Warriors. He's the quarterback. He's the Warriors who make the Warriors go. When he on the court, the Warriors go because everybody got open shots. Curry is out there, you know. And I think, you know, yeah, like young architect said, I don't know. He may play 3 to 4 more years. I see him playing 20 years because of the injuries that he's starting to pile up every year. You know, it's like the last couple of years, and he sit out, then he comes back and he re-energized the Warriors, and they won championship last year. Isn't that crazy? But I knew it was going to happen. I called that last year. Now this year they're going to have a harder time, but if long as Klay Thompson is playing the way he's playing, after I've seen those games, went 40 something, hit 18 threes in a game or something like that. You know, he back on his point on his game. I guess that knee is 100% well because he's moving real good right now. So I believe that, you know, the NBA could, you know, but about Curry, they it's messed up though, because he should get those calls. You know what I'm saying, to protect them a little bit more. But they don't protect them because that's not the kind of brand of ball that the NBA wanted to be put in the NBA. You know, all those other people is hating because the Warriors changed the game of basketball. You know, I'm not hating. I think it's good for the game. You know, even though people don't like it, but it's good for the game. You know what I'm saying? You know, Charles Barkley always say that, oh, because y'all couldn't run that kind of game. Warriors could play. Another thing, the Warriors trading Wiseman. I think that was a wasted trade pick. Because if you knew you wasn't going to play with a big man, should never drafted one. Because Warriors won the championship without a big man.
Well, it's
You
not
know?
that they didn't want to play with him. He couldn't catch the offense, man.
Well,
Because we would love to have a big man like Bogut or McGee.
But you drafted him. He's a scorer. They want him to set high picks and screens and shit. And that's probably why I just think that it was a wasted draft. It was a wasted draft pick because now if he turns out to be a good player in Detroit, from them trading him, that was the right decision to send him somewhere where he can blossom, because he may blossom there versus where he was at, you know. But that's not what I'm talking about. I don't really care about that. Like I said, I'm a Laker. So whatever they do, it's okay with me. But now GP, you know, like I said, he solidified that defense, and that was a good pick. But I still say that, you know, the Trailblazers are slippery. I mean, they didn't give him the damaged goods. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They just gave him some damaged goods and just passed him off and took off. You know, they did like Warriors. This is Gary. Gary just drove off like Cuddy did. They just drove off like Cuddy on him. You know what I'm saying? And dropped him off. Damaged goods, and that's not right. But once he's healthy and Curry is healthy, the Warriors will be all right. I mean, that's one thing. Warriors play better small. I mean, Warriors is a team that don't have to have a big man to dominate. They just need somebody to be able to get rebounds and you know, and block shots and set them high pick and roll screens, you know, them high screens and them picks. You know what I'm saying? They just proved it last year. Boston was way bigger than the Warriors. Everybody's thinking the Boston was going to kill the Warriors. I said, no, they're not. The Warriors are going to run circles around them because by the time the fourth quarter comes, Warriors put you out of breath. Take your legs from under you, and you're at their mercy. I hate to say it. I mean, I just call greatness, like I said. I know greatness when I see it. You know what I'm saying? The Curry is great. They need him because that's the captain of the ship. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Poole is cool, but he need to slow his roll, stay in his place, and follow Curry, because if they follow Curry, good things gonna happen for the Warriors. That's the man they got to follow, because Klay Thompson feeds off of Curry, Curry feeds off of him, and when them both two are together and they feeding and they hitting, they're hard to beat. Doesn't matter who they play. You know, I'm not a hater. You know, I'm a realist. But I mean, I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no bandwagoner. I'm not none of that. But when them two are 100% healthy, and then they got Wiggins to play defense too, he come back and say it right or whatever, the Warriors can still win the championship. I'm not going to sit up and say because Phoenix got Durant and all, it don't mean shit. You got to put that together, Gregory. That's got to be jailed first. So that's all. That's how I feel about it. If it ain't jailed, guess what? It may fail.
Hey, I agree. I agree. So, you know, hopefully we'll see everybody at the full powers when it comes playoff time, championship time. I want to see the best competition, man. So hopefully GP2, you know what I'm saying? Curry, Durant, everybody. I want everybody healthy. But
Yeah.
we shall see.
You want
So
it that
for us,
way.
however, we're gonna roll into the Michael Irvin situation. Interesting. As we all know, do we even know what are the charges against Michael Irvin? Did y'all
That's
I
what
have
I
know?
was
no
reading.
idea. Michael,
Yeah,
You know
and
what,
guess
Greg?
what?
I was reading that too.
But
And I
guess
was
what?
like,
There are none. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? This is just this woman's accusation. So for people who don't know, Michael Irvin, ex-Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, was accused of doing something inappropriate to a female employee at the Marriott Hotel during Super Bowl week. So the supposed incident happened February 5th. He was taken off the Super Bowl coverage February 7th off of ESPN and NFL Network. But guess what? He was taken off by those two. But a week later, he was allowed to work for Paramount. You know what I'm saying? For the whatever. What's that NFL show that used to come on Showtime? Inside the NFL.
Mhm.
oh yeah,
Uh,
Right.
he was allowed to work with them a week later. So we know Marriott is a sponsor of the NFL. So this is kind of tricky here. They're a sponsor of the NFL. One of their employees accused him of doing something, but there was somebody recording the whole interaction between these two. And the interaction was Michael Irvin went over, the lady flagged him over to talk to her. So he went to talk to her. And he was saying something you couldn't really hear, but the thing you can make out clearly is if you want to say he dropped F-bombs or whatever, because he said multiple times, we don't want to fuck up the kids. So that seems like he was saying something to protect children, really. Said multiple times. I heard the video myself. Said, we don't want to fuck up the kids, though. Yeah, we don't want to fuck up the kids. So he's talking to her. She's laughing. The situation's jovial. So he goes from there to his hotel room, goes to sleep. And I hear at some point he was waking up by hotel security being made aware of this. So what's fucked up about this, man, is there are no charges, like I said. This woman accused him of doing something, and they have the hotel, they have video cameras. They've been trying to, Michael Irvin's attorney has been trying to get the video released from the hotel. They won't release it to them. You know what I mean? So what is that about? Just something smells a little fishy up in here, man. I don't know what to make of it. What I can make of it is he didn't do nothing wrong. And right now, it seems to me there's a back story. They're trying to figure out how they want to spin this. So they don't want Mike to look bad, and they don't want the NFL to look bad. And why they are protecting this woman by calling her Jane Doe, so when she's the one that started this whole thing, and there's no proof that anything happened. I don't know, but we'll see. What do you think, Raider Lady?
Yeah, I've been hearing about this. It sounds like just an opportunity. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like someone who probably either knew who he was clearly if she called him over, knew who he was, and anything about his past. He can, he can be a subject, a target for, a come up. If I just put it like that, he could target for that just based on his history, because he has a history.
Yep.
Okay. So sometimes public persuasion or public appearance can get you paid. And so he looked like he was if you want to say somebody, like she tried to scam me. I mean, just get him caught in some litigation. What again? Then you hope that they just, settle out of court, get you some money, and somebody got caught recording it. So therefore they found out it wasn't much. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't nothing. So he'll be working and he'll be fine. It'll be blown. They'll just keep it moving. Is anything gonna happen to her? She gonna be prosecuted? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah,
She needs to be prosecuted.
right. Because that cost him his job in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't work. He couldn't work. He got kicked out of the hotel. So
Yeah.
yeah,
that.
that's what it looked
But
like.
I don't know. Architect, what you got on this, man?
To be honest, man, I think that like with that whole Jane Doe thing, I think she should just be brought out because I'm gonna be honest, if the shoe was on the other foot, his like whether it was Michael Irving or any just some regular dude off the street, if his shoe was on the other foot, I think his name would be out there. It'd be plastered everywhere talking about, oh, he's this, and that. But I did see, like, what I'm saying, Michael Irvin, I guess the $100 million suit has been dropped. And now Michael Irvin is, if he's not countersuing, I think that's the correct term, countersuing like them for defamation. Which honestly,
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree because at the end of the day, like, I mean, whether you disagreed with whatever he said or whatever, you think you could just get over it like quickly because
Right.
you can get a quick buck. Like that's not the case, man. If we're being real, like you said, like in the video, you heard him basically all he really said was, I don't want to. Let's not fuck up the kids, or I don't want to fuck up the kids. Like that man don't give a damn what the hell you got going on. He just want to care about like what's going on with the kids. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I see, like I said, Michael Irvin says he's suing the hotel chain for defamation. So we'll see, and I guess apparently this Judge Amos L. Mazant III. I guess it's a good thing. It's good news for Michael Irvin. I guess it's the same
Yeah,
guy that
I think he was granted permission to go ahead, something where he was able to go ahead with the lawsuit or something.
Yeah. So I'm like, at the end of the day, man, whether you were just trying to get a quick buck or you thought you could get over on him, whatever, that's not the case because at this day and age, especially in the social media age, there's always somebody holding the camera. Always. You're never just not gonna be like, oh, this just happened. It's gonna be word of mouth. So hopefully, this all plays out well for Michael Irving. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we'll be looking at it going forward. So, but yeah, no, you just can't. Honestly, I'm gonna end it off with you just can't think you're gonna get over on anybody at any given time.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing he countersued for defamation, so
Right.
we'll see. Hopefully, he hit her up like Cardi B did Tasha K, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get some paper up out of that, But moving on to this last subject. This one here, man, very tragic. It's about Brandon Miller, freshman for Alabama, #1 basketball player in NCAA. Very talented guy. And I kind of threw this subject out there because I just happened to be watching the Alabama-Tennessee game last week. And I just heard him say, oh, Brandon Miller, first game back. I knew there was something going on, but I didn't really pay attention. But he just started lighting Tennessee up. And I was just like, dang. Every time they went down, hit a three, go to the hole. He had full package, man. And I believe he wound up hitting the game winner too. But the story of this is Brandon Miller took his two friends. One of his friends used to play for Alabama. His name is Darius Miles. He was a top recruit when he went to Alabama. I think they said he's #4. So I don't know if he was their 4th ranked recruit they took 2 years ago, or if he was #4 in the nation. I have no idea. I would venture to say #4 on their team because he was just like basically a role player. Didn't do much. He had big size and athleticism, 6'9", small forward, power forward, I believe, little tweener. And, for some reason, he kept missing games for personal reasons this year. Something was going on with him. First he got injured. Then they're like, oh, he's out a week, something personal going on with him, whatever. You know what that is. That's always mysterious. That could be anything.
Right.
So Darius Miles, he's not really on the team at this point, and Brandon Miller is, and he's like the star of the team. And there's a third guy named Michael Davis. I'm now sorry I didn't do my due diligence on him. I don't exactly know where he comes in other than he was a pilot. So Brandon Miller drops Michael Davis and Darius Miles off at a club. Drops him off. He goes back home, gets a call at 1:30 a.m. It's from Darius Miller. I don't know if it's a call or a text, but basically it's telling him, bring me
It
your
was a
gun.
text.
Okay, so it's a text.
Mhm.
So he brings him the gun, and even at that point, I don't know if Brandon Miller was there still, if he left, gave him the gun, left. I don't know how it went down. He gave him the gun, and that gun was used by Michael Davis to shoot Jamia Harris. You know, and according to what they say, I think either Darius Miles or Michael Davis was getting at Jamia Harris, and she wasn't giving him no action. And she was there with her boyfriend and her cousin, and it went bad. Man, and I guess dude Michael Davis shot her, man, and killed her. Now this is a beautiful black woman, you know what I mean? Mother, 5-year-old son. You know, you think if you're a woman and you go to the club with your boyfriend, you think you would assume you would be safe, especially from someone trying to get at you with disrespect. You know, very tragic. And the thing with me with this Brandon Miller,
Oh,
like, man, if you give somebody a weapon and they commit a crime with it, to me, you're complicit with that. I don't give a damn.
You're an accomplice. Yeah.
You don't give someone a weapon, you know what I'm saying, irresponsibly like that. If I give somebody a weapon, I assume they're going to use it. Why? Otherwise, why do you want it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I don't know. Raider Lady, what you think?
Yeah. Just to add to what you're saying, so the teammate left the gun in the car. That's the story, right? That he left the gun in the
So
car from
Darius
earlier
Miles-
in the day. They were together earlier in the day, and the teammate that you spoke of left the gun in his car. So and called him, like you said, called him or texted him that early in the morning to come get the gun and take them somewhere. So
hold on, I'm not following that. So the teammate talking about Darius Miles.
yes,
He left the gun inside Brandon Miller's car.
yes, they were together earlier in the day.
Oh, so it's Darius Miles' gun. It's not Brandon Miller.
Yes, not the youngsters. Yes, not the freshmen, not the standout.
Oh, okay. So you know, everybody got different versions of this story.
Right.
That's-
This is what's in the affidavit of because this is the grand jury stuff that came out. So
Okay.
now they got a picture of actually what they all got on file or what happened, the events. So because he's not being prosecuted, he's considered a cooperating witness.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Right. So so he said that gun was already, it come down to choices and decisions.
Mhm.
You shouldn't, if somebody leaves a gun in your car 1 a.m. in the morning, early wee hours of the morning, I'm not delivering you your gun, even though it's yours.
Yeah.
That part.
I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm out of commission, man. I can't get. I got class in the morning, early class. I'm not leaving to go take them somewhere. See, but that come with peer pressure. That boy's a freshman. He was a star freshman, projected lottery pick.
Mhm.
Well, so the culture be like, you gotta, we're gonna buck up and you're gonna go, you're delivering the gun. It ain't like you delivering some food or something. It's a pistol. Even though the pistol is legal. They say it's a legal pistol, but but the point is that's just a poor decision. Nothing ever happens good in the wee hours of the morning. Someone asks you to take them somewhere to retrieve a gun that they had from earlier in the day.
Yeah. But it does make more sense what you're saying, because I kept wondering, why is it not a big deal that he delivered, I'm thinking, his firearm to his teammate but with it being the teammate's gun that he left in his car and he's
Yeah.
taking back his property,
Right.
even though
So then he passed
still,
it. I mean, it's still it's a
Yeah.
chain, it's a chain, chain of command, if you want to say, from
Yeah.
chain of possession. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, but the thing is, but like I said, he cooperating. To me, it's like it's the culture, man. Like the culture of that hood shit, keeping it a buck, keeping it 100. You gotta answer when they call and all that,
Yep.
knowing that that's not what you there for. That's not what that ain't what your teammate there for too. But he got a partner that's next to him that he brought from around his way. You see, and those are that's culture. That's the deaf culture.
Yep.
That a lot of our young men are being exposed to. That boy come from, he got a, 2-parent household, the whole thing. But he the dude, he the guy. So he made a poor decision, but I'm glad he getting he hope this is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call because you could really lost it all. Just like that. Just like that.
Man.
So, and the school sticking with him they let him play because they already knew what it was. He wasn't being charged, period. He wasn't being charged with anything to do with the crime.
Yeah. I would like for him to, I think in this situation, he should reach out to her parents because I think it's kind of twisted because it's looking different than what you just explained. If that's what's in the affidavit.
Exactly.
Like I said, at 18 years old, and the guy's calling you, oh, I left my gun. I need that, man. You need to shoot me that, man. Getting at him. Probably like, well, it ain't mine anyway. I don't know what he gonna do. Hey, there it is, man. Now I don't have your gun. I didn't want it in my car anyway. Here,
right,
go.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
He's a good kid, poor decisions. It's the culture, man.
Like you said, that's a whole show in itself. Deaf culture. Our architect, as a youngster. What do you feel about it?
Instantly, when I first heard about this, I thought about the John Moran with his homie pointing the laser at people.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I thought of the same thing. Like, you're a good dude, but you surround yourself with people, which is only fair because, as an adolescent who has this, especially in, like, I say my generation and younger, a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of people who think they come into a lot of money or they come into a certain situation, they have to have this mask of like, oh, bro, I'm hard too, I'm tough too. So him kind of being there for his homie, I can kind of be like, oh yeah, like he's kind of like, oh yeah, I got you no matter what, kind of like on some like ride or die type stuff. But then I look at it as like, dude, like realistically, he could have ended his whole like career before it even started. You know what I'm saying? Granted, dude's a bucket, 6'9", can do it all. I think he's averaging 19 and 19, like if not, 19, almost 20, like 8-9 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? On the season in Alabama. Realistically, if you look at it, you know what I'm saying? Alabama's not really like a powerhouse when it comes to basketball. You know what I'm saying? But
they are this year, though, G.
But I'm saying normally, obviously this year is different. Yeah. But because if you look at it like, it's different, because you see a lot of dudes who try to act tough, but at this point in time, it's just like, damn, it's kind of like a misconception. It's like, yeah, I am this. He is like somewhat of a good dude. He's a young kid, but he's a freshman, correct? You know what I'm saying? So
straight out of his mama house.
That's what I'm saying. He's 17, 18 years old. Like he's still extremely impressionable. You know what I'm saying? If Darius Miles, I don't know if Darius Miles is a freshman or an upperclassman, but either way it goes,
it's like a sophomore or a junior.
So see, like you latch on to somebody that's like, I look at him like my big brother. I follow him through whatever, all this whoop. Like it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever to kind of, in a sense, prove my loyalty. I can say a lot as far as my generation, at least the people that I've been around, a lot of people have been in that similar situation where it's like, oh, I kind of feel like I have to prove myself to these people. But if I'm being real, like, I don't think, he knew any better. You know what I'm saying? He kind of wasn't thinking anything of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was more so like, okay, my homie wanted me to do this, so I'm gonna go do this for him. I'm gonna pull up, you know, I'm gonna give him what he needs to, I'm gonna get him what he needs. But um I agree with you, Big G, as far as like maybe he should contact the family, you know, and kind of give like somewhat of an explanation to it because it's like, especially if it wasn't his gun, you know, like damn, like I don't want them to think like, you know, it was me because when I first heard about it, I honestly thought about it like this, like he played the game, he played and he dropped 41, but then I was looking at it like what's it called? Like, and it's an ongoing investigation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking at it like, and then I was looking at it kind of like that's kind of messed up because then I looked up, you know, I kind of watched college basketball a little bit more recently. I looked up these two twins that went to the University of Miami that got in trouble for having a dinner for somebody. Like it's just as a recruiting trip. They had a
Mhm.
dinner with a booster. The Cavender twins. They're play for the woman. They're supposed to play for the women's team. And I was like, damn, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? If he can go out and play, and they're basically getting kicked off the team just for having a dinner. So you know what I'm saying? But now looking more into it, it's like, okay, like it's kind of so that he was just kind of trying to ride for his homies. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know. I think there's a little more guidance that needs to be shed to him, and also that I think that would also go into like finding for these athletes, putting them in position to where they don't have to feel like they have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know, like starting to piece it together a little bit now. I don't even think it's like riding for the homie type of thing. Cause like how Raider Lady was saying, it's like a good kid straight out of mama's house. Just think. I think back, okay, I'm 18 years old. I got a couple of partners. We cool. We kicking in my partner. He a little more in the streets than me. I get right. I have my car. I go back to the house. I got his gun in my glove compartment. I'm like, God dang, man, I don't want this shit. I'm not in the streets. I
Right.
don't want it on me, nothing like that. He hit me at 1:30 in the morning, like, hey, I need my man. I left my gun. Oh man, her cool. Let me get this shit up out of here, because I don't want it near me. And I'm kind of starting to see it more towards that. And I think another thing that helps him out is this whole thing was caught in a ring door little thing, a camera.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a good thing. He's not involved at all. I don't
Right.
know. Raider Mike,
Yeah.
what do you think about it, man?
Well, I mean, this is unfortunate, but I'm glad that he didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't know that part what Raider lady was just saying that I didn't hear that information, but I'm glad that I know that now. I mean, but it's like one of them things, man. I mean, you know how somebody who's about to make it, and then there's always that hood friend or somebody who's on the side that you feel obligated to help them or be obligated because if you make it, then they got to make it. No, they don't. If they making poor choices and not doing the right thing, you need to separate yourself. You just need to learn how to say, not trying to keep it real all the time. And you got to separate yourself from people who are not good for you, that may get you caught up in some stuff like this, that you may not just thank God he didn't do anything because he wouldn't be able to get out of that. You know, as a murder, that's somebody's child that just got killed for no reason, all for just saying
Somebody's mama too. Somebody's mama, somebody's child.
somebody's child,
Yeah, you know
anything.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
just because I don't want to talk to you, I got a boyfriend, and you disrespecting that already, and then you're gonna come back and do that. I mean, what kind of person are you? That's not the kind of person that Brandon Miller or whatever the guy need to be hanging around with. He just poor choices sometimes. The people we hang out with, the company we keep is not healthy for us. You know, and that's how I look at it. I mean, because I don't know everything, but when she would later just said that, just I was be able to get more information. I'm glad that he is innocent and that he just did that. Probably say, like you said, G, that said, well, I just want to get this out of my car. I don't want to sell my car. I don't want to have no problems with him. Probably said I don't want to have no problems with him if I'm sleeping, when I don't give him the gun when he wants to have a problem or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's part of it. He didn't want to have no problems with him. He just gave it to him, didn't think nothing about it, didn't ask him what he needed it for, and just gave it to him because he just wanted it out of possession and out of sight, out of mind, I think. And then all of this happened. He didn't know that until it came down.
Yeah.
But I just think that these young players and athletes need to start opening up their eyes. For you, if you was raised by your mom and dad, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to prove that, oh, I can be hard, I could be in the streets. Hey, I'm hood, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm from the ghetto or whatever. You got to do all of that. Just be yourself. I think it's just best for some people to hell with how somebody perceive you or think about you, And I think that's the biggest reason why people do that. Why these youngsters hang on to hood friends and people who are just not no good, because of that reason. And then it gets you into trouble sometimes. Thank God he didn't get in trouble, but just think of all the other people that have gotten in trouble like this, for keeping it real. And guess what? Somebody get some real jail time.
Keep it real goes
That's
wrong.
called keeping it real, but you're gonna do some real time.
Keeping it real dumb.
Yeah,
Nah, for real.
That's called
But the
real.
thing is, it's gonna be a tough season for him. I can imagine when he go to opposing the ring. It's
Yeah, but
it's
Oh,
already
most
happening.
definitely.
we about to see what
most
he
definitely.
made of mentally.
Yep,
Because
exactly.
his mental toughness is about to
And
come
quite
back
honestly,
around.
because
quite honestly, I hope if he's fully innocent,
see
I
what
hope he goes into every opponent's in the arena and drops 40.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
drop
I hope he
40.
does. Prove to everybody that this isn't
Because he
who I
gonna
am.
get
I
it.
hope he does that.
He gonna get it.
He's gonna hear.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gonna be hated like JJ Redick when he went to Duke. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be bad.
Right.
Yeah, he'll bounce back though. I mean, he just got, like I said, just be careful who the company.
That's why eventually I say I think a level of maturity would be him go. At least, the family may not want to speak to him. Hey, write them a letter, do something to
Yeah,
let
you
them
can write
know,
them a
like,
letter.
hey,
But I wouldn't.
I had no idea, that wasn't mine, that was his, just giving him back his property, whatever. You know what I mean? So hopefully it goes along that line. Rest in power, rest in paradise to Jamia Harris.
My God,
So,
rest his soul. That's crazy. That's
That,
nobody.
I'm gonna wrap it up for this week. Gonna let everybody sign off for themselves.
It's your boy Raider Mike. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but the Wi-Fi got unplugged for a minute for some reason. I didn't unplug it, but she had to do it because she's doing some work upstairs, Gregory.
All good, all good.
That's the lady of the house had to take some of the power out for a minute.
Later 19. We're gonna do it again. I'm looking forward to this. It's about to get good because our free agency about to pop. So
There we go.
y'all make sure y'all tune in. This is gonna be real
all
spicy. A lot of moves.
Aaron Rodgers coming.
You know what I'm saying? it's the young architect, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I'll see y'all next Sunday.
Yes. And once again, it's your boy, Big G, signing off for this week. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and the subjects will only get better and better each week. Hey.